Testing, testing.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Good morning and welcome. I'd like to ask you to stand for the posting of colors and the national anthem.
More time. More.
I'd now like to call Reverend Wayman to come forward for the invocation.
Grace and peace to all of you. Let us pray. Our Lord, our God, is once again we thank you for the abundance of your grace and your mercy. We thank you, God, that you once again shown yourself real by moving vision to fruition. We thank you, God, for planting your treasure inside the hearts of those that are filled with faith, compassion, and generosity. We thank you, God, that we appreciate and we celebrate that you've increased our territory. But to whom much is given, much is required. So God, help us to live out the requirement that you have for us, that we seek justice, that we love mercy, and that we walk humbly before our God. God, we ask you to continue to bless, lead, and direct the leadership of this great historic institution. Bless Morgan State University as you have continued to do. Help us to understand, respect this hallowed ground upon which we stand and the shoulders that we have mounted upon, and let us continue to press forward. God, limited only by our creativity and our imagination. Lead us, God, according to your will. Bless us according to your love, and forgive us according to your mercy. Lord, we honor you and we praise you on this day. Thank you, O great Creator. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Raymond. You can be seated. Good morning and welcome again. We're so excited that the day has finally come when we can celebrate the grand opening of Tyler Hall. My name is Donna Howard. I'm Vice President for Institutional Advancement here at Morgan. And we thank you for sharing in this historic day with us. We're so fortunate to have the Tyler family with us, along with our current and past administrators and our elected officials. Their vision and hard work stretched out over years of collaboration and partnership made this day possible, so we thank you. Before we start the morning's program, I'd like to acknowledge the band and the ROTC Bear Battalion. And at this time, I'd like to invite Chairman Kwesi Mfume to bring greetings on behalf of the Board of Regents.
Thank you for that great ovation. You can stop clapping now, though. Hey, Mr. Mayor, put your mask up, shorty. That's a private little joke for those of you who know what's been going on here in Baltimore. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We thank God Almighty for this kind of a day. It's a beautiful day, and we couldn't have scripted it any better than we have it. I want to thank Dr. Wilson from the outset on behalf of the Board of Regents as chair for his leadership in the community, for his friendship over the last 11 years, and for his steady stewardship of this institution. I've noticed also that former President Earl Richardson is here. Good to see you, sir. And to all of you who are faculty, friends, students, alumni, and who've been on this campus in one way or the other over the years, thank you for coming to see where we are today with respect to this new building. I want to do two things, if I might, and then I'll get out of your way. The first is to say thank you. Thank you to Governor Larry Hogan for his unflinching support of this university over the last 7 years. Unflinching. He and Lieutenant Governor Rutherford have made it a point to support the school, to listen to the university's concerns, and then to appropriate and budget the money that we need. And we thank you, sir, for that. We do not take that lightly. I've served under 5 or 6 governors now here on the Board of Regents, and so I just wanted to make sure that you know that we appreciate that, and please extend our best to the Lieutenant Governor as well. I also want to thank Chairwoman Maggie McIntosh. Is she here? Not yet? I'll tell her I said good things about her. Maggie is the chair of appropriations. She appropriates the dollars, and she stands steward over a lot of that. And over the years, her, along with Senator John Carter Conway and so many other members of the House of Delegates and the Senate, have really, really helped us. So Maggie, thank you so very, very much. I want to, if I might, just acknowledge several members of our Board of Regents. Our Vice Chair, United States former and retired General Larry Ellis. Regent Tracy Parker Warren. Regent Emily Hunter, Regent Wilston Wilkinson, and our student regent, Regent McCall Brown. And if I've missed any other members of the board, please let me know and we will take care of that. 4 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, a group of people up from slavery, believing in the power of education, wanted so much to put in place an institution for people to learn in. It began as a biblical institute in 1867. It soon became a college. And then, not too long ago, within the last 50 years, Morgan became the university that you see today. And for a race of people at the time who had suffered, endured, and survived 2 centuries of slavery, oppression, deprivation, denial, and disprivilege, this institution became the dream that they thought of in those dark days of slavery. And we've watched it and watched it and watched it over time. It has birthed many of us as students, and it has caused this city and this state to recognize in new ways the power of education, so that in this instance, we would become a manifestation of that hope. Now, this is about the dedication of this building named after Cal and Tina Tyler. Dr. Wilson is going to say things better than I can about what this means, but let me just say to both of you, as I've said before on many occasions, some people talk and some people do. And long before the humongous donation to this institution, long before that, Calvin and Tina were making contributions to Morgan to get students through, to pay the rest of their bills, to make sure they had books. Don't lose sight of that. So this is the culmination of many of those smaller efforts, because this is a very large one. And on behalf of all of us on the board, thank you, and please thank Tina and thank your entire family for allowing you to be here with us and for allowing you to give back in a way that Morgan, I hope, has given to you. Both of you mean a lot to us. And when these doors open, as they have, students are going to go through and remember the Tyler Scholars. Raise your hand. Oh, yeah. And there are a bunch over on this side. These are the beneficiaries of so many, many grants. I'm going to get out of the way. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us. And thank you for this page in Morgan State University history. I appreciate it.
I now have the pleasure of bringing Dr. Wilson to the podium.
Good morning. You know, I have the task often as president to follow the chair of the board, and the chair of my board just happens to be one of the best orators in the country. And so that's always a challenge for me. But I really want to say good morning to all of our friends, to faculty, to students, to our staff, to all of our distinguished and honored guests. I really want to thank all of you for joining us on what is a very, very special occasion. If this is your first time visiting us, we'd like to say, welcome to the National Treasure. If indeed you have been here before, welcome back. You know, we have so many individuals that are included amongst our distinguished guests, but please allow me the opportunity officially to recognize the Honorable Governor Larry Hogan. As the chair of the board has indicated, we have really enjoyed a very, very effective relationship with Governor Hogan. Since I have been president here for almost 12 years, that administration during your last 7 years has invested pretty close to $500 million in our capital program here at Morgan. So we really do appreciate that. We also want to welcome Mayor Brandon Scott. Thank you, Mayor. Good to see you again. And also City Council Chair Nick Mosby. Good to see you again as well. And to all of our other elected officials. But we certainly want to take this opportunity to say thank you and welcome to our two very, very honored guests, Calvin E. Tyler Jr. and his lovely wife, Tina. Thank you for being here with us on this auspicious occasion. And so to Chair Mfume and the other regents, I also want to thank you and board for your continued support of this institution's elevation. In our time working together over the last decade plus, we have been privileged to participate in a number of these types of events, and the future seems to be set for us to see a few more of what we are witnessing this morning. It was 4 years ago, to be exact, that we were at this very, very same location, perhaps on top of the hill, when we came together to commemorate the breaking of ground for a new building to be erected on this campus. It was a celebratory affair, signifying the continued growth of our ever evolving Morgan State University. Today, we gather again to lay witness to the culmination of what began as a vision for a new way to introduce Morgan to the thousands of students and their parents who literally come to this campus from all over the world. We wanted to introduce them to a new way to avail this institution to them, to our surrounding community, a new way of serving our students. We wanted to provide our students with a top-line student experience. And that was the vision that has given rise to the Calvin and Tina Tyler Hall that you see today. The location here, the location that we chose to erect this incredible facility was done very deliberately and with high degrees of intentionality. We wanted it to be the university's front door because, trust me, Montebello was absolutely ridiculous. And when I arrived here, I couldn't believe that we were bringing those thousands of students from around the country to a dilapidated facility that should have been raised 30 years ago. And so this was the vision, if you will, was to put our offices in the same type of space that you would see on any thriving campus across the country. And so the grounds upon which this building now is resting is special because it is the place where once stood, when I arrived, the Soper Library, named for Honorable Judge Morris A. Soper, who served as a member and chairman of Morgan's Board of Trustees for 34 years. In fact, to my right over here, you'll see the last remnants of Soper still standing as a testament to our great history. And so, friends, it's fitting that this building is named in recognition of our honored guest, Mr. Calvin Tyler and his wife, Tina, for the services housed within this building are committed to students and to making sure that students are having their needs met. And so Calvin and Tina are also committed, as you've heard from Chairman Mfume, to making sure that the student needs are met. From their perspective, those needs are financial. From the offices in this building, those needs are rooted in service. And so I'm going to ask just a few of the students that you are helping financially to rise. Show your orange and blue colors. Show the Tylers what they are investing in you. These are the students that we say to them, we are here growing the future so you can lead the world. And so this is what you have given birth to. And this is what you are giving birth to for the next 80, 90, 150 years with that endowed scholarship program. And so in 2016, the Tylers made a commitment of $5 million to the university. And at that time, it was the largest in Morgan's history. And believe it or not, it was the 6th largest in HBCU history. I couldn't believe that at the time. I went back and we did our research, so that $5 million gift in 2016 was the sixth largest philanthropic gift that anyone had ever given to an HBCU in this country over 160 years. And so that gift that they gave, it bolstered a program that they started here in 2002 under former President Earl Richardson. And that program that was started in 2002 was also designed to benefit students from Baltimore, many of them who grew up just like Calvin. And so this past February, we announced that Calvin and Tina had increased that $5 million commitment to $20 million so that even more students can gain access to a Morgan education. Now, a point of history here. The $20 million gift that Calvin and Tina have made to Morgan is the largest individual gift ever given to an HBCU by an alum who attended that institution by a long shot. And so you are making all kinds of history. And so for years, if you have come here to the campus, you know that the Tyler name has stood above the doors of the large ballroom in the university's Student Center, and it still is there today. But it is important for this university to acknowledge your long-standing support and your generosity in a way that is more deserving of your great legacy here at Morgan beyond the ballroom. And so the resources that they provide, that you provide, will further the vital work that we do in expanding opportunities here so that every student at Morgan would not be sent home because they don't have the financial resources, and they will be able to walk across the stage, get that Morgan sheepskin, and be able to dance on the world stage, as we say, with the best of them, any place, anytime, anywhere. And so this building, which we officially opened today in honor of the Tylers, will stand as a symbol of our eternal gratitude to you and serve as a permanent reminder to all who pass through this campus of the commitment of this extraordinary couple to Morgan's long-term success. Calvin and Tina, on behalf of the entire Morgan family, please, Morgan family, those of you who are here, those of you who are witnessing this event virtually, let's give Calvin and Tina another rousing round of applause. Thank you. Now, some of the features of this $88 million building will include all kinds of spaces, high-tech spaces for the community. I'm sure that Dr. Turner will talk more about that. We even have, if you will, a green roof that is ideal for outdoor receptions, both for our students, our faculty, our staff, as well as for our community as well. And so we also have designed this building to be energy efficient. Indeed, this building already has received 7 national awards for architectural design and for functionality. And so we also, when we are designing our projects here at Morgan, we want to make sure that we are targeting employees from the local area. And so we work with our contractors to say, you know, first of all, we want you to hire from Baltimore City, but then we want you to hire, Mr. Mayor, from Northeast Baltimore, where this campus is. And so with that in mind, more than $22 million of this project went to minority-owned contractors. 19 individuals were employed full-time on this project who live in these neighborhoods. And in total, if you will, with the students, 16 individuals were actually a part of the management team of this particular project. And the firm has already hired full-time 7 Morgan graduates who are working in civil engineering and electrical engineering on their projects now all over the country. And so as I bring my remarks to a close, you know, I would be absolutely remiss if I did not acknowledge the commitment and the efforts of our Associate Vice President for facilities, design, and construction, none other than, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Kim McCalla and her team. And so Kim McCalla and her team, and I have been around the higher ed circle in this country, they are really first in class. And every single project that Ms. McCalla and her team have undertaken here at Morgan, Governor, it has been brought in on budget and on time. We have not had to come back to the state and ask for any more money, and this project was brought in under budget and before time. And so with that in mind, I want to once again thank all of you for being here today. I want to once again acknowledge the great support of Governor Larry Hogan and the current administration. And thank you very much for your continued support of Morgan. The state has been a great partner, and certainly without that, there is no way that this building that we are about to go through would have been possible. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the 62nd governor of the great state of Maryland, the Honorable Larry Hogan.
Well, good morning. What a beautiful day at Morgan. Thank you very much, President Wilson. I heard you say how intimidating it was. You had to follow one of the great orators in America, the chairman of the Board of Regents, Congressman Nfume. I got to follow both of you. So that's even putting me in a tougher spot. But I am so pleased to be here with all of you to recognize this very exciting achievement for Morgan State University and for the entire state of Maryland as we officially cut the ribbon on this beautiful new Calvin and Tina Tyler Hall Student Services building. I want to begin by congratulating Chairman Nfume and the Morgan State Board of Regents, and most especially, I want to thank President Wilson and his team, but really we're here to say thank you to, most especially to alumnus Calvin Tyler and his wife Tina. Such a pleasure to be with you here this morning and have a chance to meet you. Their unparalleled generosity and their deep commitment to education and to the city of Baltimore have made today possible. And I think we ought to give them another round of applause. Calvin, your example and your amazing life story will inspire countless future generations of Morgan students. And on behalf of the entire state of Maryland, we want to sincerely thank you for continuing to give back so that more young people can have that opportunity to get a world-class education right here at Morgan. As our state's preeminent public urban research university, this incredible institution consistently develops well-rounded leaders with a moral compass, with a sense of justice, compassion, humility, and public service. And just as importantly, Morgan emphasizes the need for lifelong learning while preparing students to tackle the challenges of the 21st century in business, science, engineering, healthcare, and more. The state of Maryland is so proud of Morgan State University, and now this state-of-the-art facility we're celebrating today will serve as a gateway to Morgan's campus. 140,000 square feet with 5 stories, beautiful lobby space, meeting rooms, office space, the green roof. Tyler Hall will serve as the new home to the admissions office, the records and registration, financial aid, the registrar, and many more. But more importantly, it'll be the first stop for new and prospective students, and it will be a cutting-edge resource for everyone on campus, which is why it's no surprise that Morgan students were actually involved in the design of this beautiful building. The state of Maryland was proud to strongly support this project with the investment of $88 million. And Dr. Wilson, our administration is proud to have provided over $660 million for capital projects for the growth and advancement of this incredible university. So I just want to say congratulations and thank you to everyone who has been involved in making this possible. This ribbon cutting today is just another shining example that Morgan State is and will continue to be a state, national, and global leader in education. Thank you very much. And at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Wilson and Chairman Nfume to come up so I can present them with an official governor's citation honoring today.
Let me also, if I might, acknowledge our newest Regent, if he'd stand for a minute, Regent Sherman, William Sherman, and a Morgan graduate.
Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Brandon Scott.
Good morning, everyone. This is Morgan Homecoming Weekend. Let's do that again. Good morning, everyone. And for those who don't live in Baltimore, welcome home. Mr. Governor, I had it a little easy. There's a break between the three of you and myself, so that's how you have to do it in the future. It is great to be back on the campus of Morgan State University. I think it's been a little bit over 2 weeks. 2 weeks too long, but to be here today to celebrate the grand opening of the Calvin and Tina Tyler Hall. I want to recognize the governor, the congressman, council president, all of my elected official friends, Dr. Wilson, the entire board, our student regent, and I think Mr. Congressman, sometimes you'll remember this. Sometimes folks put the future, that folks that will have your job right behind you at events. Dr. Wilson has put the student trustee behind me at every event at Morgan that we've been at. So I can know that she's coming and I got to get out the way. And I'm going to get out the way. But I want to continue, Mr. Congressman, Mr. President, to continue to express my gratitude to you and everyone here at Morgan State for the work that you are doing to uplift our young people, our students, our city, and my beloved Northeast Baltimore. We are lucky to have so many incredible community center institutions in Baltimore, including Morgan State. For those who don't know, I have declared Morgan State Baltimore's university. It's not just Morgan State University. We know how much this institution means to our city. And we all know, and I have the opportunity because I live nearby, to see this every day as I go to and fro and see it go from the ground up. That this building opened during the pandemic, and during the height of the pandemic, to be honest. But it's critically important that we are here today, gathered here today on homecoming weekend to officially acknowledge the opening of this wonderful facility. And because I was raised right by my grandparents and my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, my grandma wouldn't be here, but I would feel a slap on my head if I dare call you by my first name. For the work and the investment that you made, not just into this building, not just into these wonderful young people that we see today, but for all of them that have you done over the years, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I think it's safe to say that everyone here is grateful for your commitment to improving access to higher education to all students, but in particular, those from Baltimore City. We know, and Mr. President, Mr. Tyler, I want to let you know something. The gentleman coming behind me with the poly, Y'all play next week. I don't want no mess out of y'all. Just want to let y'all know that. I saw the ring, Mr. President, so I had to make sure that y'all knew that. But we want to thank you because it means so much. No one should be shut out of higher education solely because they can't afford it. No one should have to do what I am doing, be 37-year-old and still paying for college. What you all are doing are helping our young people be the best version of themselves without carrying the world of debt on their shoulders. Your generosity, what echoes from generations to come through these young people and what they will do to change the world, as Morgan Bears always do, through this building. And Mr. President, while you know I didn't go to Morgan, a lot of my friends did, and I did go inside Montebello. You are absolutely right. I want to also recognize and thank the construction and development team. As you heard from the president, a $25 million awarding to minority businesses and enterprises is not a small set. Morgan set a target for Tyler's Hall construction manager to hire 19 individuals who resided within the Morgan Community Mile, a 12.2 square mile area within 1 mile of the radius of this campus, which includes my home residence. And by the time the project was completed in April of 2020, the contractors had made 51 such local hires, including 16 project managers. But this is the key, meeting 268% of the goal. Not 100, 268% of the goal. It's that kind of partnership. It's that kind of investment from folks like the Tylers will continue to help Morgan, Baltimore's university, be a beacon of light and education that will change the world generation after generation. Thank you both again on behalf of the entire city of Baltimore. Go Morgan, and congratulations, everyone. And now it's my pleasure for me to introduce a son of Northeast Baltimore, the Council President of Baltimore, Nicholas J. Mosby.
Leave it up to Mr. Mayor Brandon M. Scott to steal that thunder. Because I was over there and I was looking at that shiny ring on his finger, and I said, I read all this stuff about Mr. Tyler, and he went to City College. Oh. You got to be from Baltimore to understand and know that high school rivalry trumps anything. Mr. President, to the Board of Regents, by your illustrious leader and Congressman M. Fume, to the governor of this great state of Maryland, all the way to the mayor of Baltimore. Baltimore City is getting what an urban institution, particularly a historically Black college and university urban institution, looks right. We're getting this right. I mean, imagine all of the folks that are going to be coming home this weekend, and when they fly into BWI or they catch the Amtrak down to Penn Station and they pull into their home and they see this beautiful building standing behind us. They get the opportunity to meet the largest freshman class of this school's history. Mr. Mayor, that doesn't happen by happenstance. That happens from leadership. And we have to say thank you. Because Morgan is not just a treasure here in Baltimore, Maryland. Morgan is a national treasure. And it's your leadership that's shining light on it. So we truly, truly appreciate to the Board of Regents, as well as to the amazing Tuskegee man in David Wilson. I always have to put that out there. To Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, it brings me so much honor to stand before you and just say thank you. Thank you for my personal story of my perspective of being a kid from Northeast Baltimore, being the first in my family to travel, go away to school, all the way down to Alabama, stand in those lines, trying to fight to get in school every single semester, Mr. Congressman, calling home, trying to figure out what we're going to do. I'm going to speed a story real quickly, but it's going to be a story that started when my mother dropped me off my first day on campus. And she's there, she's crying, she walks away. it's time for me to go register. She's going back to Montgomery, Alabama to get on our flight to get back to Baltimore. And I stand in line, have everything all filled out, Mr. Congressman. And the woman in line, she says, okay, all you have to do is give me $1,700, whatever it was. I don't have it. If you don't have it, you got to go to financial aid. Go to financial aid. You got to fill out this form, that form, blah, blah, blah. We speed all the way through that process. Tuskegee at the time was a place where when they saw potential in students, they somehow allowed us to register every single year. It's not the best way to run an operation, but for whatever reason, they decided this guy named Nick Mosby could stay there. Student ID 106306. I remember it because I always had to say it over and over and over again when I went to go see the bursar. So fast forward that process, it comes to my third year at Tuskegee, and the Board of Regents says, if you owe a dime, you are going to be withdrawn from class. They give us a date, Brandon. They say, if you don't pay up by this particular period, you will be withdrawn from class. Now, I knew the only thing that would interrupt these crazy ideas I had in my mind of graduating with this electrical engineering degree, being the first of my family to graduate from college and move on to a career path, and getting that degree was my finances, right? And I saw that hope diminishing. So I left Marilyn, my wife, state's attorney in Baltimore. She was in my dorm room crying, knowing that I was going to walk to the bursar's office, and the bursar was going to tell me that as of that Friday, I had to figure out how I was going to get back to Baltimore because I was going to be put out of Tuskegee University because all of my classes would be withdrawn, and I had to immediately leave my dormitory. That's what they told us. So I took what I call today a death walk down to that bursar's office and trying to figure out how I was going to call home to my mother in Northeast Baltimore to say somehow we're going to have to figure out a way that she was going to get me from Alabama back to Baltimore. And when I stood in that line and I got in front of that woman and I said, student ID 106306, I'm here to check on my balance, she told me, Brandon, your balance is zero. So being from Baltimore, I said, well, can you print that out for me? Because I want to see that. I need to see Nick Mosby 106306 with a zero balance. So she printed that out. So then I said, man, is there any way that you can look at the transactions on my account just so I know, what's going on? She said, sure. She typed in the computer and she said, baby, somebody put 4,000, whatever the amount of money was, I don't know, for that semester, on your account yesterday. And it came from the financial aid office. So I said, print that out for me too. So I grabbed that paper, Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, I ran to my financial aid director at the time, and I said, Ms. Henson, what happened? She said, well, students are being put out of school on Friday. She said, Nick, I know your whole life story. I know everything about you. I know the only thing that's going to stop you from getting your degree is your financial aid. She said, well, we got a pot of money that came in for students, and many of the directors divvied it out, $500 here, $1,000 there. She said, Nick, I gave you a lump sum of the money that I had. And I don't know my Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, but to look at the faces of these young folks and to think about the residual effect that you would only have played on their lives, but their family lives. Imagine the stress that you've relieved their parents. Imagine the opportunities that you have created for the young folks that are in their families coming behind them, because no longer do the resources have to necessarily go for them, but they can go for other things in the household. So from the bottom of my heart, and everything that the mayor has said, and the congressman has said, and all the speakers before me have said, thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, for what you've done. You are epitome of what this university is, what this university will continue to become, and your name will forever be cemented right here at Hillen and Cold Spring. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mosby. I will now hear from our Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Success, Dr. Kara Turner.
Mr. President, you mentioned not wanting to speak after Regent Fume, who is such a great orator, and here they put me after Councilman Mosby. That's Good morning, everyone. Governor Hogan, Congressman and Chairman Fume, and other members of the Morgan State's Board of Regents, Delegate McIntosh, Mayor Scott, Councilman Mosby, and other elected officials, Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, President Wilson, Provost Yu, and other members of the Platform Party, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and honored guests. It is my great pleasure to participate in this truly hallmark event, the long-anticipated official grand opening of the newest building to adorn this national treasure of a campus. Today, we are here to celebrate a state-of-the-art facility that, as President Wilson said, now serves as the front door to many of the critical services and support our students require as they matriculate toward earning their degree. We are here today to officially open this modern marvel of design, concrete, and steel that will forever bear the name Calvin and Tina Tyler Hall. On behalf of the 17 departments and approximately 300 staff and administrators who now call Tyler Hall home, I offer a huge thank you. Thank you, Governor Hogan, and all of the legislatures, university administrators, architect and design professionals, and others who have made this gorgeous, centrally located, light-filled, ultra-modern new building a reality. Many of our incredibly hardworking and dedicated staff who now reside in this building spent many years working on the edge of campus in the not-so-gorgeous, not so centrally located, not so light-filled Montebello complex. As you can hear, they are, and we are, incredibly grateful for this fantastic new building, its diverse office space and amenities that will help us better serve and meet the demands of Morgan's growing enrollment. Our students are now able to handle their student services with the aid and convenience of today's latest technologies, streamlining critical support functions in this convenient space. It's convenient to their class buildings, their residence halls, and it was intentionally designed to offer them a welcoming space where they will receive exceptional and efficient service. Councilman Mosby mentioned having to stand in lines. Our students now, we have the technology, they can go to a kiosk, put in there what they need, or they can even text from their phone, say what service they need. It'll give them an estimated time that they can come back so that they can go do all the other things they need to do and not stand in line. That's the kind of service we're trying to provide here and are providing here in Tyler Hall. Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, I know that I speak on behalf of all the inhabitants of Tyler Hall when I say that we are honored by your presence here today. We are incredibly thankful for your support of Morgan and our students. We are honored to come to work every day in a building bearing your name because we recognize both your sacrifice and your generosity, endowing Morgan students with the opportunity that you were not privy to. All of the services that we provide in this student services building help to deliver on the promise and mission of this institution. You can be assured that the office and staff of Calvin and Tina Tyler Hall will provide an outstanding level of service to our students and the larger community that will make you proud. I thank everyone for coming out here today to participate in this momentous occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Turner. Please join me in welcoming to the podium a class of 22 Tyler Scholar, Jayla Oliver.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I would like to first thank you all for allowing me to represent the Tyler Scholars. It is truly an honor to be speaking at the Calvin and Tina Tyler Hall grand opening. My name is Jayla Oliver, a senior majoring in social work at Morgan State University. I would like to thank everyone who has played a part of my matriculation. I chose Morgan for many reasons, but my biggest reason is that I grew up on this campus. I attended an after-school program called UMBA, which was geared to helping children become aware and knowledgeable of college and attending an HBCU. Growing up in Baltimore City could be challenging, but I've made the best of it all. I truly believe I will be successful. The Tylers have assisted me with a lot during my journey here at Morgan, and I cannot thank them enough. I've been a Tyler Scholar since my freshman year in 2016. Through ups and downs, especially my senior year, this scholarship have allowed me to continue my education and reach my goal of starting a business. I have a registered business with the state of Maryland called Wealthy and Wise 2 LLC. It is a credit consulting business geared to helping individuals in my community build healthy credit habits, understanding and repairing their credit scores, as well as empowering them to buy houses and become business owners. Again, thank you. Again, I want to personally thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Tyler, for awarding these scholarships. Receiving a Tyler Scholarship went a long way to boost my confidence and concentrate on my studies. To be able to graduate debt-free is truly a blessing. We are forever grateful and cannot wait to give back to our community in many ways that you have given back to us. Thank you. And now we would like to present a gift to Mr. and Mrs. Tyler.
Thank you, Jayla. It is now my privilege and honor to welcome to the podium our dear friend and benefactor, Calvin Tyler.
Thank you, thank you. You know, I'm getting up there in age, and I really felt my age when I heard a number of the speakers talk so bad about Montebello. It was okay when I was here. You know, Tina and I really appreciate all of the remarks, all of the comments, all of the recognition. But in some ways, we feel a little bit uncomfortable being recognized for doing what's right. When you're blessed, and we've been blessed, you should try to find a way to give back and help others. And that's what Tina and I have tried to do for the last 20 years. Also, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with this recognition because I didn't get here alone. And if you would allow me, I'd like to take a couple minutes to recognize some of the people who helped to put this partnership together between Tina and I and the university, Morgan State University. First of all, I'd like to recognize, if she's here, Cheryl Hitchcock. There she is. When Tina and I retired in 1998, as I said, I'm getting old, we immediately thought about how we could give back and help young people in our hometown of Baltimore get a college education. And so we called Cheryl. We know Cheryl from grade school. And we knew she was working at Morgan State. And so we called her and asked her if she would help us to find a way to help young people in Baltimore. And Cheryl got a hold of Dr. Richardson and convinced Dr. Richardson to fly down to Atlanta to meet with us and talk about the possibility of setting up an endowment for young people in this city. And Cheryl, I want to thank you for setting that meeting up. It went very well. Dr. Richardson, I want to thank you for the dinner. You paid for dinner, I remember. It was very nice and a good investment on your part. But Dr. Richardson convinced Tina and I that if we wanted to help young people in the city of Baltimore, there was no better place to invest than Morgan State University. And I thank you for that. And I want to thank Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson has visited Tina and I in Las Vegas and California so many times that we consider him family now. And he is like family, but he also shares our commitment for helping young people get ahead. And when I came back and saw all of the buildings, and of course this beautiful building, I appreciate Dr. Wilson's leadership in making Morgan bigger and better. You've done a great job, and thank you. I should thank some family members that I have here. Really, I'd like to thank my parents. They're not here. But I know that they're looking down, and I really appreciate the job they did in raising a young kid in Baltimore. My brothers are here. Robert, is Butch here? Butch? They're getting older, but I always remind them I'm still the oldest. Thank you for being here. I love you both. My son, Kevin, is here. Where's Kevin? Thank you, Kevin, for coming. He came all the way from Las Vegas, and we gave Kevin a rough time as he was growing up, I think because we moved around so many times following my career that Kevin, from grade school through college, I think lived in 7 different states. So sorry about that, Kevin. You turned out to be a great son anyway. Thank you. And then, of course, I want to thank my rock for over 60 years, my wife, Tina. Over the years, sometimes, you know, I worked in a very stressful corporate job, and sometimes I would get down on myself and get down in the dumps, and I could always count on Tina to lift me back up. And also, sometimes I might get a little bit full of myself, and I could always count on Tina to knock me down a notch. So thank you, Tina, for keeping me grounded. And I also want to thank some friends that came with us. Tina and I moved 10 times all over the country, and we always recognized that family was important. But when you move all over the country and have to live in different cities and different states, you find out that friends are also important, very important, and almost like family. So I want to just quickly introduce some of my friends, and they didn't just come from around the corner. Bill and Vivian Stansel. They came from Florida. Doug and Betty Smalls, they came from Fort Lauderdale. Gene Henderson is here with us, son. Gene came from Atlanta. And Larry. Joe and Gail Tolliver came from Anchorage, Alaska. Herb and Nellie Thomas. Where are they? They came in from New Jersey. Ron and Wanda Thomas came from Atlanta. And Patricia Fox came from Las Vegas. This might be the last time publicly that I have a chance to thank my friends, our friends, and tell you how much you meant to us. A great deal. Thank you so much. Donna told me I couldn't talk too long, so the rest of the time I have up here, I want to address to the Tyler Scholars. Tyler Scholars. Tyler Scholars. Tina and I have had over the years a great deal of financial success by investing in the stock market. But I'm here to tell the Tyler Scholars that no investment we've ever made means more to us than our investment in you. We are proud of you, and we're rooting for you. In a few years, you will graduate from Morgan. Notice I said a few, not 10. In a few years, you will graduate from Morgan, and you will go out and make your mark in the world. And whatever you decide to do, whatever is your passion, we hope that you will give it your very best, that you will work very hard, and that you won't be timid. Don't be shy. Be bold and be brave. Come on up. Tyler Scholars, whatever you decide to do, don't be afraid to move outside your comfort zone to take on new and different challenges. Be bold and be brave. Whatever you decide to do, don't let anyone try to tell you what you can or cannot do. That's up to you. Be bold and be brave. Whatever you decide to do in life, please believe in yourself. You will leave Morgan with a great education and God-given talents. Please believe in yourself. Be bold and be brave. Remember earlier I said Tina and I are rooting for you, but more important than that, your family is rooting for you. Morgan State is rooting for you. And the world needs you. Tyler Scholars, we know that you will make us all proud. Be bold, be brave. God bless you, and God bless Morgan State University.
Thank you. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask the platform guests to join us for the ribbon cutting. It'll be followed by the portrait unveiling on the second floor of Tyler Hall. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. They're grab-and-go lunches, and you're welcome to do self-guided tours in the building. Thank you for joining us.
Can I have everybody, you all go up here? Okay. On one side of the ribbon cutting. Yeah, look, that guy right there.
Start bringing our fellow scouts to fill in behind. Thank you much. Yes, yes. We got real fellow citizens. Yeah, that's it. Okay, ceremonial. Yes.
Okay, everybody look forward. I'm gonna make sure everybody do it all together. Come on. All right, we're gonna count down. 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and cut.
No, hold on, careful.
How do I get real?
That was just ceremonial. Great.
You're gonna do it by the car. So first car by the stop sign.
Gotcha.
Just gave full authorization.
I'm sorry, say that again. That's, I was wondering everything. Okay, right by which car?
The first car by the stop sign, we're gonna.